Welcome to Secrets to Win Big with Arjun Sen. I'm excited to start this new season. And this season will focus on branding. As I talk about branding, let me take you to the origin of branding in my life. Branding came as somewhat of an afterthought because of a gift from an amazing human being. My undergrad is in aerospace engineering from IIT Kharagpur. And in that particular world, I saw 3 and 3 is always 6. After 2 years working in a steel company, Tata Iron and Steel Company in India, I was in US at Brigham Young University, very fortunate to get into their MBA program. But in my mind, I was still wired 3 and 3 is always 6. So I was thinking I would use my MBA to focus on operations, to make better processes, better systems. But sometimes life has other plans, and those amazing different plans in life comes from incredible human beings. One such fascinating, incredible human being in my life is Professor Hickey Rene, a professor in marketing at Brigham Young University. I was taking his entry-level marketing class. When day one onwards, he would start telling me how I was gifted. Initially, I would bush him, ignore him, but Professor Rene wouldn't give up. In second semester, when he still kept pushing me on my marketing gifts and my branding vision, I felt maybe he's right. And the moment I opened the door to opportunities, I realized professionally, marketing was my true love. Branding, marketing, and myself, we just fell in love. But that's the time I learned from Professor Rene the difference between marketing and branding. Branding is all about the feelings. Branding is the feeling you leave with when you leave a brand. Marketing is about communicating, setting expectations, creating the brand perceptions. But none of these things matter till the fulfillment and the feelings happen. I don't think, Professor Rene, I have ever thanked you directly, but today I want to pause and say thank you for literally reorienting myself and seeing my true love. Marketing professionally was sitting, branding was sitting right there. But the second challenge to me was once Professor Rene opened the branding mindset, I realized that there are 3 kinds of brands. All of us start as one of many, which is ignore-worthy. Then we evolve to one of few. Once we get to one of few, we get noticed, but mostly we get ignored. Only when we elevate to one of one, top of the pyramid, that is where we create the search stops here moment. We create FOMO. I'll give you a very simple example. I was divorced, single dad, and I met Chitra. Seeing her smile, somehow right away, I realized this person is one of one. I wanted to be with her and wake up next to her and see her smile every day. That's what one of one is. FOMO, have to be with that particular person, brand. As I was learning all these amazing things going into your mind, what I realized was branding is about learning, talking, but also living. The talking also has to be one of one. And now I'm in the phase in my final year, final semester to put my resume out to the world. I realized every student to get a resume done, they go to the career placement office at Brigham Young University, amazing professionals, and they have different samples of resumes. Most students lock into a resume. And I realized the challenge of locking into a resume is taking your amazing creativity and your diversity, your differences, and forcing into a format. I realized resume is simply a document that sets an expectation and perception of who you are. Truly a marketing and a pre-brand expectation document. And once I realized that, I had to do things differently. Those days, 1988, there was a player called Bo Jackson who used to play both sports. And Nike went crazy with amazing Bo Jackson ads. I looked at the Bo Jackson ads and I mimicked this red resume on a red piece of paper, some graphics, some text. Even I was a little scared to send that resume out. I sent the resume to 3 different brands. 2 brands never responded. In fact, with one of the brands, years later, when I accidentally connected with their CEO and I asked, mumbling, "Sir, did you get my resume? Because you guys never responded to my resume." Initially, he could not connect. He's the CEO. The moment I used the word red resume, he looked at me as if he has seen an alien. He said, "You are the guy who sent us the red resume. Do you know what happened in our organization?" Apparently, it set a commotion all the way to the board. And they even talked about in a board meeting how to respond to a red resume. They even talked about, should we use a red piece of paper or a different colored paper? And finally, they accepted the fact that it has taken them 15 plus years to go from white shirts to vertical stripes. They felt I was ahead of times for that company. See what the resume did for me. It not only helped me position myself, but it also helped select for me that this is not the company where I would have thrived. I also sent my resume to Pizza Hut, those days part of the PepsiCo group of companies. And within days, Pizza Hut invited me and I had a job offer. I still remember it was the 1st of January. I walked into the Pizza Hut world headquarters. I did not know 1st of January, business offices are closed. But it was a remarkable entry into the business world, all because of that red resume. Today, I want to share that document with you. It's not the original, but the journey into branding starting that day was all about be one of one, think one of one, talk one of one, and live one of one. The living is incredibly important because at the end of the day, what I learned all through was you can talk, but if the customer, the guest does not feel the difference, it's totally useless. To the point where years later, when we created this company, Zen Mango, at the core of Zen Mango's branding is one IP. And the IP is very simply stated, we are all in the feeling business. Think. As kids, we only hung around and played with kids who made us feel good. If you and I grew up together and I was a little bully, do you think you'll play with me? Absolutely not. You shouldn't. So we have this natural propensity to gather, hang out with things that make us feel good, because that's what life is all about. I also realized that any brand, anywhere you look at, a customer during an experience sits within your experience to decide the future with your brand. That's the feeling business. It's just like dating. If you were single and as your best friend, I set you up on a date, in that date, with that person sitting across you, within the first few seconds, you'll put that person in one of three buckets. Bucket one, Arjun, this is not funny. Why would you set me up with this person? Bucket three, Arjun, you know me. Thank you, buddy, but I cannot talk to you right now. I want to focus on this date. And in between bucket two, yeah, Arjun, let's see how it goes. The date goes on. Towards the end of the date, the person across you may sit and decide, even if you're the last person on this planet, she doesn't want to go out with you, be seen with you, or have anything to do with you. Or there's an amazing connection and the person wants to plan the next date with you now, today, something in between. But that is the power of connecting dating, feelings, and the business world. So if you take all these things together, branding is all about starting with a clear vision of being one of one. Branding to me is all about fulfillment. Branding is all about delivering on that feeling consistently. And to arrive at that, we have a very simple, clear vision. And the clarity is very important. And any business you're in, if you commit to that one goal, wow, one more, that's it. This is a gift I got from my amazing daughter, Raka. I have to digress and tell you the story. I was getting ready to market my book, Raising a Father. I'd created this incredible 20-page PowerPoint plan. My daughter, Raka, looked at the plan and said, Baba, that is brilliant. But are we hurting for money? Why can't we just go and have fun? And then before I could say anything, she dropped the wow, amazing plan in front of me. She said, Baba, why can't you go have fun and wow one person and then wow one more? And that is what I learned that day was, even if you have a business of 1 million customers, you build the business by wowing one person at a time as you go forward. So this season, it'll be all about branding. I'll have some cool guests, some cool stories to share, Some of the stories are success stories, but most of the stories will be about failure from which we learned, but hopefully they didn't define us. But as we go into branding, I really want you to focus on three simple questions that work every time in any branding work we do. Question number one: the world does not need another business offering services. It doesn't. Till you tell me your unique difference, what makes you one of one. And the moment you mention that, I ask everybody else to move, and you are right there. I even ask you, why have you not been offering this in the past? You become my best friend. That's the question one. Question two: once you find your niche, do a search and replace, put your competition's name there to see if it works for them. If it does, then you don't own this. It's a generic trait that you think you own, but for you to have that sustained win that nobody else has in the consumer's mind, very important, you must own something that nobody else has. And the third question is, I think, the most important question. Remember, branding is all about feelings. Branding is about fulfillment, which means, do you have a path to consistently deliver on just that? Three questions, and the answers have to be yes, yes, and yes for you to be on the path to amazing branding. We'll have a lot of fun, but I want to go back to where it started. Let's all pause and think about those amazing people in our lives who selflessly impacted us, gave us gifts, and because of that, our life changed. Professor Renee is that person in my life. Let's all celebrate that one person today as we start this season with branding.